Shalom everyone and Shavua Tov. It's a new week, a new opportunity, a new challenge. But it's not really new, it's pretty recycled. Why? We have again the weeks of the Shovavim. We just started last week, now we're in the second week, and we learned a few things last week. Now the story is that whoever was not there, didn't listen to it last week, Shovavim, it's a sequence of the parashot, or the weeks that are from the starting of the book of Exodus, which means the story of the Exodus. And what do I mean the Exodus? It means that we are not reading the story of the Exodus just because we are traditional, and it's very nice to hold the tradition, and we are memorizing the story of the Israelites 34 centuries ago. How long ago? 34 centuries ago. That's a lot. You know, isn't there anything more exciting to celebrate something new? No, that's not the issue. The issue is, as we learned last week, that when we say in the beginning, the first verse in the book of Shmot, Ele Shmot Bnei Yisrael Habayim Mitzrayma, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt. They're always coming. And who are we talking about? We're talking about not just the Israelite coming to Egypt, some as a historical event. We talk about us, human beings, that our souls are coming into our bodies, and our bodies are in Egypt. Mitzrayim, narrow, dark place of slavery. Slavery to the body whims. Now it's cold, now it's hot, now I'm hungry, now this, now I'm missing some iron, I need some higher hemoglobin, I have too much cholesterol. That's being stuck in Egypt, a slave to your body. Now there's a lot of adrenaline, not too much adrenaline. Now I am stressed out. Now all of this is coming from the body. Without the body, whoa, we're free. Free to be happy, to see, to be everywhere, no limitation. The body is in Egypt. Okay, so since the soul is coming to the body continuously. That's why Habayim, coming in continuous tense, present continuous. We are talking about something that's happening all the time. And what is our problem? That we are in Egypt. And we are slaves. And each one of us, as I said, so we are slaves to the body comfort and the body this, and you think that you are independent. No, just you get a thorn under your nail. Forget it. There's nothing else. You experience tzimtzum, which means you have no interest anymore in anything, not in business, not in relationship. There's one interest, that the pain will stop right now, and you don't care about anything else. Correct? Slavery. What if you're hungry? What if you ate too much fat, too much carbs, too much this, and now you have, you got the point. So, how do we release ourselves from our addictions to the body and all kinds of addictions? Drugs, what people say about me. There's so many addictions, right? So, these 8 weeks in a leap year, we are now in a leap year. These 8 weeks are 8 weeks of redemption, of deliverance. Delivering what? Delivering the consciousness of freedom. What I mean freedom? The fact there are all kinds of excuses why not to be a slave, why not to be free, doesn't mean that you have to succumb to it, that you have to listen to it. So what if somebody said something? So what if somebody said he's going to come, he didn't come? So what if he said he's not coming and he's coming? So what if he didn't come on the right time? Too late, too early? So what if he came and he was not nice? So what? Are you a slave? Are you allowing all kinds of external things to enslave you and to prevent you from being the person you want to be? I mean, what's the person want to be? Who doesn't want to be happy? Like, is there anybody that you know that wakes up in the morning and the first thing on his mind, I can't wait to hate someone, to be upset about someone, to be disappointment because of someone? No, everyone You know, if you wake up like slowly, nice, on time, not rushing anywhere, and you ask that person, and somebody asks you, what do you want to feel today? It's a universal answer. I want to be happy. I want to be excited about life. I want to love and to be loved. That's what everyone wants. And if they don't, they're already very sick. Right? Very sick mentally. So, that is because, as we learn, there are no free lunches. Without the body, you have all of it. With the body, you have to earn it. You have to overcome addiction to fear, addiction to lust, addiction to excitement, to disappointment, addiction to all kinds of bodily emotions. Without the body, you have no addictions. You don't need to get high because you're high. When you're outside your body, you're already high. You don't have to get higher, right? So we learn also the Hebrew name of the book of Exodus is Shmot, the book of names. It's all about names. Why names? Because there's only one creator. There's only one God. He is the God. He is everything. He's reality. He's everything. He's the life force of everything. The question is, in what name do we call him? Because, you know, sometimes you wake up in the morning on the wrong side, and then it looks like God is upset about me. You can even swear that the tree is upset about you. That every frog passing by, every dog or cat, they're also upset about you. Correct? Why is it? Because anybody notice you? Not even if they notice you, that's you impose your emotions on reality. And that means that we impose our own perception on God. So once we see him as the Lord of wrath and anger and stuff like this, and another time we see him as a loving, kind God. It's nothing to do with God because he never changes. The only one who changes is us. So we give him different names according to our experience. So that's why it starts with the birth of Moses, right? And in Hebrew, we said Moshe. If you read it backwards, is Hashem, the name. That's in his name. That's why, calling him Moses doesn't, it's Moshe, Hashem. And also later on, when Moses has an interaction with God, with the burning bush, the first question is, who should I say sent me? Why, you don't know who's God? You don't know who's God? So God sent me. No, who sent me? And the answer is, Ehyeh, Asher Ehyeh. Ehyeh, tell Ehyeh sent you. What's Ehyeh? Ehyeh is one of the names of God. That's a name of God where everything starts from, when birth is coming from. It's like the womb of the mother. Why? Because the whole procedure of the Exodus is the deliverance of a new consciousness of humanity. The consciousness that God is good, loving, unconditionally. He's never changing his mind, and that God already committed that all of us will be happy sooner or later. You can't escape that. You can only choose, the longer way, the shorter way, the costly way, the more, the not costly way. That's our free will. But we cannot change our destiny. Our destiny is because God loves us, and we are his children. We're going to be happy, we want it or not. We are going to be happy. Okay? I apologize, to all of these people that think that, God wants us to be upset. That's not our God. That's an imaginary God that somebody invented. He doesn't exist only in some people's imagination. Now that we get it, now we can understand the end of Parashat Shmot, and that will be the beginning of VaEra. The end of Shmot, it says that as Moses comes to Pharaoh And he says, let my people go. And Pharaoh says, who says so? And Moses says, God. But he doesn't say God. He didn't speak English. English did not exist yet. That was 34 centuries ago. He says what we call the name, the Tetragrammaton, Youdkevitch. And what's Pharaoh's reaction? I don't know him. He doesn't exist. There is no God like this. And Rabbi Zohar, as we said last week, said, oh, Pharaoh was not an ignoramus. He was not stupid. He was really wise. He was wise in witchcraft and sorcery like no one else at that time. If someone else was wiser than him, he will become Pharaoh, right? No sentiments. If I'm stronger, I'll finish him off and take the job, right? I think in many parts of the world it's still the same story. It's just a wishy-washy, democracy, whatever. No, whoever is stronger takes it. Now, the question is like this. Why Pharaoh says something like this? Because Rabbi Zohar is saying the whole thing of Exodus is about the delivering of the consciousness of the loving God, unconditional grace, chesed, kindness, and so on. That God, there was no way to connect to that consciousness. And Pharaoh knew that. Because he was the master of witchcraft. What Egypt is about? Have you learned a little bit about Egyptian archaeology? It's all about witchcraft. Like a big voodoo country. But big. Not small little dolls. Big ones. Pyramids. Huge ones. Statues. Everything was into sorcery and witchcraft. Pharaoh said, no, Moses, you don't get it. There's nothing like this. There's only, as we said, despair. Dictators, they thrive on other people's despair. Hope, happiness, kindness, that's not our thing. It doesn't exist. And the result is that Pharaoh says, if you have hope that you are going to be better, it means something is, we're not doing our job. And he gets it worse. Okay? What is the result? Says the Torah, just read it. Pharaoh says, oh, you have hopes, it means you're not working hard enough. You're not tired enough. If you have hopes. Okay, I'm going to give you more job, more work. And then it says, VaEra shotrei bnei Israel. I'm reading in chapter 5 in Exodus, verse 19. And the policemen of the children of Israel, they saw all of this evil stuff that is happening, and they saw the Israelites are not, they can't keep up with all the new quotas they have. He says, no, you should keep up the quotas. And then they meet, the next verse, ויפגעו את משה ואת Aaron. They meet Moses and Aaron, ניצבים לקראתם, standing in front of them, בצאתם את פרעה, as they coming out from another appointment with Pharaoh. ויאמרו אליהם, and they say to them, ירא השם עליכם וישפוט אשר יבאשתם את ריחנו בני פרעה. God will punish you because you made Pharaoh be upset about us. Oh, like Pharaoh, till now, he didn't make a decree to kill all the children, right? Reminds you something? It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. You know what's the Stockholm Syndrome? It's like, if you heard about Patty Hearst, that story. Stockholm Syndrome is like, you have the kidnappers, they kidnap, they're the bad guys, just to make everybody, if you kidnap another person, that biblically, that's terrible, right? Gonevi shumecharo mot yumat. You steal a person for money. That's terrible. One of the most terrible things in the world. Now, in that case, it happens to be that the victim falls in love with his abusers. And they side with the abuser and join them. Like Patty Hearst. Like an incident that was in Stockholm. That's why it's called the Stockholm Syndrome. And that's why you find out this weird story that you have like the people responsible for the Israelites, and they blame Moses for making waves Oh, because of you, viv'ashtem et rechenu. You know what's viv'ashtem? Pharaoh looks at us like skunks right now. We made bets, before that he loved us so much. He couldn't stop loving us. Just because of you guys. He hates us right now. It's all your fault. Does it sound logical? Mm-mm. But when people speak like this, and they side with the enemy who wants to kill you, it's a known psychological, pathological syndrome. It happens, okay? Because you wonder, how come people, they side with the people who want to kill them and are against their own kind? If you know what I'm talking about. Vayashuv Moshe, but you know what? Being in a place like this is very dangerous because it can affect other people. How do we see? Vayashuv Moshe El Hashem, and Moses goes back to God. Vayomer Adonai, he says Adonai, Aleph, it's written Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. He turns to God, like, why the names are changing all the time? Did we say it's a book of names? It's about calling names. The name you call someone is the way you want to relate to that someone. Right? Mm-hmm. Look, you meet a person and you really admire the person. You give him a name, the wise one, right? The holy one. Because you want that name to show yourself even what you feel towards that person. If that person is upsetting you, you're trying to give him a derogating nickname. Correct? Don't people do that too often? Okay? That's terrible. But, kids can give and can be very vicious and can give a very, very derogatory nickname to a child that can follow him for the rest of his life. Correct? Mm-hmm. And he can destroy a child's life like this. You know what? Some people don't care so much. They just use that name and they climb up. And some people can't overcome that. And they stay victims. Here, when Moses calls the Creator Adonai, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, the way you spell it, the way you read it, the way it's written, that means judgment. He spoke with some evil people that are hateful and negative. As Rashi is saying, it's Datam va'aviram. It's always this kind of people. That already mix him up. Moses, to make sure that how our addictions can also depend on the people around us. Mm. When you're around people who prefer to victimize you, or they are victims also, and they just, join our misery because misery likes company, and the more the merrier, right? More people complaining, it's not a support group, it's a disgusting group, because you become disgusting yourself. So, and there's a human inclination to associate with people and to empathize with them. So Moshe is being affected from them. And he comes to God and he says, Lama reota lama zeh. And he calls him in the name of judgment. Suddenly he sees God, not the God of love, the God of judgment. Why did you bring evil to that nation? Lama zeh shlachtanu, why did you send me? Maz bati el paro ledaber bishmecha era lama zeh. Since I came to talk in your name, it just became worse. We learn another rule. When you want to make things better, it's becoming worse in the beginning. Let's say you have a house, okay, an apartment. It's not so comfortable. It's not what you really dreamt about, but you're thankful for what you've got. After a while, you become more comfortable, you have more money, you think maybe we can just make it better, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you bring an architect, you designer, whatever, and then you bring some workers. You know what? In the beginning, it becomes terrible. Dust everywhere. You can't find, you go, the bathrooms is under renovation, you can't use the bathroom. You have to get outside. You have to go to the neighbors. Yet, no water. Why? They are doing the pipes over. Oh, the pipes were leaking, but now there's nothing. Before they were leaking, now there's no water whatsoever for 2 days till, you know what I'm saying, till it becomes better, it has to get worse. Isn't that the way it is? Mm-hmm. Somebody has a problem, he can't breathe so much. He's just smoking 3 packets of cigarettes every day. So finally he goes to an addiction workshop to get rid of the addiction, and he stops smoking. And you know what? The next morning, he breathes, his lungs are open. Yes? No. You get up in the morning, you're sick like a dog, right? You're coughing, you're terribly sick. Why? That's called a healing crisis. Every time you want to overcome an addiction, it's going to get worse in the beginning. And you should not complain. Why? You want to get it for free? No free lunches, did we say that? No free lunches. You have to understand that's the way it is. You want to make things better. You have to break the original box until you make it better. It's not going to be comfortable. You have to get out of the comfort zone. Don't you hear that again and again and again? Comfort zone is everything. Mm-hmm. And don't put the blame on the Creator. Oh God, I wanted it to be better, but oh yes, you want this kind. The fairy, you know, it's only in the fairy tales. The fairy comes in and she does like this, and she pulls some fairy dust, and within an instant everything becomes better without any discomfort. That's only in fairy tales, right? Not in reality. In reality, you have to be, you know, to take responsibility. And the moment you want to take responsibility, it means that when you want to make things better and it's not comfortable, don't complain. It doesn't make you look right. It doesn't make you look wise, right? It's just, you don't do that because that's the way it is, as we spoke about it before. No free lunches, and it's not going to be easy. Okay, no pain,
no gain.
No gain. Nice. Okay, now that we base that, and Moses is complaining to God, is that because we want to badmouth Moses? Why that censorship did not take this part out? Not nice, Moses. It's not nice what he said. Oh, he was affected by Datan and Aviram, by these bad guys with this Stockholm syndrome. Oh, it's not his fault, it's their fault. The fact that somebody fell, it doesn't mean you have to jump after them into the same cesspool they're right now in. You don't have to volunteer. You can look at them and say, hey guys, it's stinking over there. Come over, take a shower. You don't have to jump. A lot of people think when you see people in the cesspool, you must. It's called about, you know, it's social responsibility. You have to fall together with them. And who is going to get them out of it if you're going to fall together into it with them? That's not your job. Don't own that. So why Moses falls into it? When we read a story like this thousands of years later, we realize we're not reading it as a historical description of Moses' faults. Okay? First of all, you look, okay, so Moses was not perfect. Why? If he was perfect, I don't want to hear about him. I can't relate to him. I can relate to people who are perfecting. As I said many times, we're not here to be perfect. We're here to perfect. Okay? You find what's wrong? Fix it. You think that you're perfect? You should see a doctor. People who say they're perfect, they must be in some bad place, and they don't even see that. That's why we need a therapy. Or somebody to take care of you, because if you think you're perfect, okay, you're not human. Why, you have wings? Last time you looked at the mirror, did you feel the wings over here? Okay, so now we come to that. It's all to realize that we are not perfect and we have to learn. The Torah is very, up to now, It is about what we have. You want to redeem yourself? You have to know that the war of independence is always bloody, messy, and tough. Isn't that the way? That's the war of independence. You can't just, you want to be independent, that's not going to come for free. Nobody's going to give you independence for free. Did you ever raise a child? Did you realize to make them independent, it's messy, tough, sometimes bloody? Isn't that? And you can't do it for them. They have to get it themselves. So, the moment we understand that, then we can understand Parashat VaEra. And then it starts, Parashat VaEra. This is Exodus 6, verse 2. Vaydaber Elohim el Moshe. And Elohim, which is also a name of judgment, speak to Moses. You ask for it. You know this expression, you ask for it. Okay? Vayomer elav, and he says to him, Ani Hashem. I am Youdkevitch. It's like Moses needs, like all of us, once in a while, hey, relax. I'm God. I love you. It's okay. Relax. The world is good. Everything for good. I'm taking care of it. You think you take care of it? No, I take care of it. Okay? VaEra el Avraham el Yitzchak vel Yaakov. Verse 3. And I have revealed myself to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the name Kel Shaddai. Not in the name Youdkevitch. Remember, it was not available yet. Ushmi Hashem, and my name Youdkevitch was not known to them. Now, if we didn't have the introduction, we couldn't understand these verses. What is this like? It's 2 verses, and how many names we heard about God? Elohim, Youdkevitch, Kel Shaddai, right? Adonai. What is this mess? How many names does he have? Oh yeah. As many states of mind we have. Right? God never changes. We change. And we apply our deficiencies on him. We impose it on him. And we have to be really careful about it. No, it's not there. It's inside. It's a color that you put over your eyes. Right? Tainted glasses. You don't like the color? Change it. Why? It's not God. It's you. Oh, you want to tell me if I'm going to change my glasses, I'm going to see differently? Yes, you will. I thought it's God. He decides. Yeah, he decided that you're going to be happy. He decided amazing stuff about you. You just don't know it. You just have to let it in. So, וגם מקימות את בריתי איתם, and I also put or establish my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the promised land, the land of their dwellings, where they dwelled. וגם אני שמעתי, and I heard the groans and the pain of the Israelites, the children of Israel, that Egypt are enslaving them, and I remember my covenant. What is God saying? Do you think I didn't see what's going on? I know what's going on. They are my children. You're just a babysitter. I am the parent over here, right? You think that you care? לכן אמור, therefore, say to the children of Israel, and we read that in the Haggadah, in the Passover Haggadah. Ani Hashem, I am Youdkevitch. What does it mean? I love you, I care for you, I give you grace and kindness, and that will follow you till finally you accept it. You can't run away from it. Only for a limited time. I am Youdkevitch, the Lord of loving kindness. והוצאתי אתכם מתחת צבלות מצרים, and I will take you out from under the suffering of Egypt. והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם, and I will save you from being their slaves. וגאלתי אתכם, and I will redeem you. בזרוע נטויה ובשפטים גדולים, it's going to be seen by everyone. ולקחתי, and I will take you to be my nation. והייתי לכם לאלוהים, I will be your God. וידעתם, and you will know that I am Youdkevitch, your God. כי אני השם אלוקיכם, מוציא אתכם את מתחת צבאות מצרים. והבאתי, and I will bring them. See how many verbs. That are called the 5 verbs of redemption. והוצאתי, I will take you out. והצלתי, and I'll save you. ולקחתי, I'll take you, and you will know. And I will bring you to the land that I carried my hand to give it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will give it to you as inheritance. I am God. So, you see how everything changed for Moses. And then the next of the verse is verse 9, chapter 6. וידבר משה כן אל בני ישראל, and Moses speaks like this. He tells that to the children of Israel, ולא שמעו אל משה, and they could not hear him, מקוצר רוח ומעבודה קשה. Because they were so upset and so hard worked, so working hard. They couldn't hear. Is that something that belongs only to the past? Never happened to you? You're trying to tell somebody, hey, it's not that bad, it's going to be okay. And they can't listen. They're too upset. Oh, it's a bad day today, don't talk to me. Why are you talking this way? Why you already acknowledge it to be a bad day? It's a bad day only if you decide it's a bad day. If you decide it's going to be a good day, it will be a good day. But you have to decide. You have to stick to it. It will be a good day. Right? Who does that depend on? Not on God, depends on me. So, the Zohar says that as we're speaking, we have a huge promise in this parasha. A huge promise that means that even if we fall and we start to become judgmental and negative and upset, it doesn't change God's decision that we will finally be redeemed. It just makes it harder for him, which means it will take him longer to bring it to us. But remember, it's only our consciousness that is separating between life full of misery and pain and life full of happiness. It's nothing to do with God. Of course it has to do with God, because he will bring us all the circumstances that finally we're going to find what we need to find. And we have to understand that. So here, we have to learn one of the most powerful teachings in the Zohar. And that is in the Perush HaSulam, in the Rav Ashlag's commentary, just a second. Sorry about that. No. Just lost the place. Here it is. Okay, it's verse 55. And it speaks about the 5 different verbs that God is using, promising Moses and the Israelites, don't worry, everything is going to be okay. Now it looks terrible, look hopeless, but I'm in charge, it's going to be okay. And he says, conclusion of it, mitzvah zo, this is a mitzvah. This is a mitzvah. He is the first, this is the first mitzvah of all the mitzvot. What is a mitzvah? It's translated into a precept. Don't even dare to say it's a commandment. It's a precept, but in Hebrew, mitzvah comes from the word tzevet, to team. Wow, to team what? He's going to explain. כי ההתחלה הראשונה של כל המצוות, the beginning of all the mitzvot, is the consciousness that these words are leading us to. הוא לדעת את הקדוש ברוך הוא בבחינת כלל. To know the Creator from the aspect of klal. Why I'm using the word klal? Because there's no word for it in English. Klal means general, inclusive, all-inclusive, something that has everything. From that point of view, you have to know God from that point of view before every action that you take. What does it mean? VeShoel, and he's asking, Ma'u klal? What does it mean, klal? From the word kolel, to include everything inside. And he's saying, Mishiv, who, and that means ladat, to know, to have that knowing. That sheyesh moshel elyon, there is a divine supreme governor to the creation. Shu Adon Haolam, he is the master of the universe. Uvara kol olamot, and he created all the universes. Shamayim va'aretz v'chol tzva'am, the heaven, the earth, and all their hosts. Which means stars, insects, mammals, creatures, objects, atoms, everything are created by the Creator and run by Him and governed by Him. V'zeu, which means everything is one. Everything is all-inclusive and all-connected. Zeu klal, this means klal. Okay? Why is that important? Because he says, this is knowing that, being aware of that, is the beginning of being. You're not really existing. You're not really present if you don't have that awareness. Now, and that before every action. V'sof hakol, and the end of all of it, okay, hu bifrat. That's called prat. Prat. What is prat? Prat, maybe the English word part. The opposite to all-inclusive is something that is only a part. It's not all-inclusive, right? It means individual. It means a detail. It means something that is separated from the rest, or whatever it looks like, being separate. So, in every action the person is doing, every mitzvah, you have to be connecting both ends. One, I'm doing it in order to connect, to team myself with the big picture, with the big universe, with the all-inclusive God. On the other hand, I have to make it in details. Although it is a part, it has to be detailed and it has to be proper, right? So it's like, don't they say God is in the details? It's God and the details, it's all the same. What's the problem? That when you focus on the details and you forget the big picture, you know, for too many trees you can't see the forest. When you do that, you miss the point. You get only one little point, but you miss the picture. You know, today it's easier to know because every picture is made of many pixels, many points. But the points are part of a whole. The moment you just let the point take over you, the consciousness of point, to take the detail, to take over you, you become a part. You become a part of the whole. That's when pain, misery, and all kinds of discomfort is coming from. So if we teach ourselves awareness, that's where we have free will. It's called awe. What is awe? Awareness. Okay? What's the awareness? Awareness of a whole inclusive nature of God. That everything we do is part of that whole. I, as a human being, I have the ability. Animals don't have it. I have the ability to make a small little detailed action, but with my mind, give it a meaning, a whole inclusive dimension. It has a meaning, it has a goal. It's part of ideology, it's part of a mission. It's part of my mission as a human being to connect the little details with the big picture. Dealing with the little details Oh, this is so upsetting. That's what makes people sick. It's the separation that makes people sick. When you're trying to get the details together, to get the pratim, all of these details, all of these little individual issues together, and you can't see the big picture, then no matter what you're going to do and how hard you're going to work, it's going to be tiring. That's a reality of Prat. The moment you connect to the klal, to the all-inclusive, everything gets a meaning. Everything gets clear. Everything fits together. You connect the dots. If you just, you just minimize yourself into the dot, everything becomes separated, meaningless, upsetting, nerve-wracking, fearful, right? Whatever you just name it, meaningless. Oh, you do really believe in God? No, there's only just chaotic, random actions. This is very upsetting. Very upsetting. How can you live a minute like this? With such a headache? Thinking that everything is randomly happen, like it's the whole universe. It's like starting a whole orchestra with millions of players. And it happened by mistake. Look, if you want to believe in that, yeah, but you have to understand that that's a big slavery, because that brings a lot of stress. Because you have no idea once you're here, once you're gone. It's all matter of random. And if everything is random, so life is totally meaningless. To life, it's all random. That's very painful. Awareness, knowledge that's the first mitzvah. This is the first precept that Moses is teaching the Israelites, says the Zohar. Because one is the beginning, one is the completion. It's like you can't have one without the other, because, I believe there's one God and He's loving and so on, but when it comes to the details, I can't connect between that. No, all of this no, it doesn't exist. You can't deny they do exist, but you cannot connect the dots. You just see a lot of dots. What's the problem? You get a headache from seeing too many dots. How you're trying to march the dots together if you don't know the rules, if you don't understand the picture? Is it a wonder, a miracle, that most of mankind is under stress most of the time? Because when you connect to the prat, over. It's messy. When you connect to the klal, to the all-inclusive, everything has a meaning. Everything takes its own place. Everything fits with everything else. As it says in the Zohar, Parshat Shmot, Rabbi Shimon says, he cries, said in our generation, this generation, Oi! To the people who live at that time. Oh, that will be so troublesome, so stressful, so upsetting. And happy are the ones who will be able to stay in emunah. What's emunah? Now we understand from that. It's the consciousness, faith. They translate it into faith. Faith, emunah means connection between the consciousness of klal. Everything is one. Everything is harmonious. Everything interacts with everything else with a simple way. And with the details, although I cannot see how the detail rhymes with everything else, it is. I just find a way. Just wait. Be ready for that, and you will see. When you live in such a place, and you know what? In our day and age, it's the easiest ever. Science, what is science teaching us? The stars are not moving in the heaven just randomly. Oh, everything is so precisely calculated. Right? Mm-hmm. All of them. No one is moving randomly. You look at everything in nature, everything is precisely orchestrated. Oh, it came out by itself. Okay, maybe. There's an orchestra. And there's a music, and there's a symphony. Somebody wrote the music. Okay? Somebody designed the orchestra. Somebody is the conductor. So, you know, people are saying sometimes, what a small world. What a small world. You know, two people meet and they didn't plan. I know a couple of friends. They lived in Israel, door to door, like door again, you know, in front of one. They never met each other. Whenever he came home, she left. Whatever, they never bumped into each other. They met, you know where? In India. Fell in love and got married. But they lived in the same building and never met each other. They had to go to India to meet each other. I don't say this is a small world. It's a very good conductor. Okay? When you understand that, you understand that all the miracles, says the Zohar, this is coming based on that first precept, first mitzvah, that as a human being, you have to connect your conscious mind, your heart and your soul, to that consciousness of whole, that everything is one, and that means that everything is connected. Nothing is terrible, nothing is horrible. Whatever happens has a reason for it. And if you're lucky enough, you're going to see how everything works out good. And if you're not lucky, you're going to see it after 120. You know, after 120, that's where when the Zohar is saying, it's when the soul leaves and you come to God and you say, God, how come? And then you have the big aha, wow, now everything comes together. Why do you have to die for that? You can live it and enjoy it before you die. Okay, so this is a very important thing. That's why it says the most important thing that Moses is teaching us is that consciousness. This is the same consciousness as we learned about Yom Kippur. That in the end of Yom Kippur, that's how we finish Yom Kippur. Just before blowing the shofar, the leader says, Hashem Hu Elokim, 7 times. And the whole congregation is answering after him, once after another. Why? Because this is the time of the prayer of Ne'ilah. What's Ne'ilah? To lock. And what are we saying? Please God, lock us into that place that we really feel that everything is a whole. That means that Youdkevitch is the real God. That even when it looks judgment, it's still love and kindness. You know, you go to the doctor, he has to take a pimple. Okay? And he needs a procedure, that's a procedure. So it's a little bit painful. But you go, so you still go, why? Because you want to get rid of it. You know it's going to be painful. So why are you going? Because you want to get rid of it. You want the feeling that it's behind you already. So when you feel the pain, you're not killing the doctor because how dare you? That's what you do. That's how it does. Isn't that the way it is?
Yeah.
Don't kill the messenger. Okay? And that's one thing. Another thing, and we'll finish by that, that's very... We have also 7 of the 10 plagues are in our parasha. 7. You know, 7, why 7? If you look at this complete structure, parts of 10 sfirot, every complete structure has 10 sfirot, also the 10 plagues. It's in order to clean the supernal structure. 10 levels. In our parasha, it's the first 7 levels. The lowest 7 sfirot are being cleansed. What does it mean? You have to decide, do you want to take side with Pharaoh or with Moses? You take side with Moses, and you see the plagues plague your body consciousness. You say, oh, you deserve it. Cleanse, it's cleansing. It's good for you. It's good for you. It's really doing good to you. You want to associate with that? Yes, that could be a very depressing, upsetting week. You're going to find so many things. Why? Because you associate with Pharaoh. Associating Pharaoh this week is not very comfortable. Okay? Be careful. Stay away from that. Everything is for the good, and the big picture is what we're looking at. That picture of unconditional love coming from heaven. And that's the truth, the only truth, and nothing but the truth. Everything else is just part of the show. Being in that place, that's the first mitzvah. The first condition to become a spiritual man of God. Or as he says, as we said before, this is, as God says, Pharaoh has to understand that you are my firstborn child. If you go around with that consciousness, things get better. Thank you very much. Have a very successful week.